What's up, guys? This is Anime Crossover. I'm back with another episode of What If Naruto Was Trained by the Dragon King of the Sea, Part 4. And if you did enjoy this video, give this video a like and comment down below. And if you're new to my channel and like my content, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more crossover fictions with a twist. Now let's begin this new video.
Demon Blades against Fairies, Chapter 13. Fairies vs. Demon Blades. Happy, get out of here, Natsu begged his feline companion, who was anxious about not leaving him alone with Silva. But Natsu simply patted his small companion on the head.
I'll beat this guy in no time flat. Just wait for me by the entrance to the forest everyone ran to. You know I'm strong. Natsu displayed some hubris, but unlike most, he had the ability to back it up. As Natsu and Silva sparred, Happy reluctantly agreed and flew towards the forest's entrance.
First half Akame ga kill a Dramelage. You're truly foolish to challenge me to a one-on-one fight. You think you can fight me just because your comrade defeated Zabuza? Let me tell you something, Zabuza was the weakest of our group. Silva switched to a Greatsword, which he had to hold over his shoulder. Think of the Greatsword in Dark Souls 3, which is just named a Greatsword and has no other name.
A big sword, you trying to overcompensate or something? Now Natsu meant something altogether different by that. He believed Silva was overcompensating for something entirely different because Natsu believes he lacks firepower, despite seeing what Silva could achieve earlier.
How dare you? Silva rushed him and swung his sword, forcing the ground to fall as Silva swung his blade down. I will break you before killing you for your arrogance. Bring it on, asshole. I'll show you the rage of a dragon. Natsu lit up his body and charged, Silva following suit. Erza vs. Orion. Adramilich's second half. I won't lose for the sake of my guild's pride. Erza and Orion stepped together and began matching attacks with Erza's blades. Orion threw Kusanagi away and used his spirit claws to defend himself. Your guild? Oh right, you mentioned Fairy Tail. That guild full of sentimental weaklings. He let Erza strike him, but his aura shielded him. Unlike last time, my aura is much denser and much tougher to break, he claimed arrogantly, wiping away a sneer as he felt his left cheek scraped, prompting him to step back. What the hell? How? He sensed green energy encircling her sword for a split second. She has the ability to channel energy through her blades. She is truly extraordinary. I don't care what you say about me, but if you say anything about my guildmates, I will beat you down and make you wish you were dead. She charged at him, trading sword strikes with his spirit claws. They both moved back and charged their attacks before rushing each other and hitting each other at the same time. Their collision sent shockwaves through the castle and destroyed the room. The castle was starting to fall apart. Other fairy tale wizards in Erza's party. This place is about to blow up. Let's get out of here like men. Elfman dashed to the entrance, joined by Juvia, who remembered Erza telling them both to get away from her and Orion. That man's aura was pure evil. I hope Erza can defeat him. Juvia and Elfman fled. Returning to Erza's combat with Orion, die. Orion ordered his snakes to attack Erza, who was obliged to defend herself by dodging their fangs. The third one, however, managed to put her on the ground, but she recovered and her swords were replaced with the spear of her Lightning Empress Armour. She spun it around, channeling electricity, before unleashing a massive lightning bolt at him. Oh she! Orion wasn't finished and was thrown through the palace. It's a good thing my lightning spear wasn't destroyed earlier. To defeat him, I must get beyond his defenses. When I fought him before, I discovered that energy assaults are efficient against his aura, so I can finish him off with an attack. Erza was startled out of her reverie when one of the snakes gripped her in its teeth. It drew her to the still-flying Orion. Old end, you think a little electric shock will knock me out? You're either foolish or just plain arrogant. As his spirit snake began to pierce Erza's armor, she immediately switched back to her armor's swords and chopped off the snake's head, releasing her from its clutches. No one has ever cut off a head. He then rose to his feet, but Erza was not done, and she unleashed another barrage of sword strikes, forcing Orion to draw his Kusanagi and match her. That would have been true if Orion had been a master swordsman, but he was only above average, which meant he had no chance in a sword fight with Erza. Is he withholding something? His speed and precision are comparable to mine, but his sword technique is crude and wild. Erza didn't notice Orion's shadow moving on its own until a human-sized black snake emerged from it and attempted to bind Erza, but she was able to respond and cut it in half. Orion took advantage of the opportunity to launch his aura spirit snakes at her, sending her flying out of the palace. He focused his Kusanagi in front of him, the third spirit serpent slowly reforming. Shadow Snake Barrage. Thousands of black snakes erupted as a massive pillar, distracting Erza, who began chopping and slashing them by the tens. That should keep her at bay long enough for me to regenerate enough aura for the third snake, he said as his aura got denser and the snake reformed, but Erza had already dispatched Orion's distraction. Orion took advantage of the opportunity to flee the falling building and into the woodland beyond the castle, with Erza close after. You can't get away from me. Erza overtook him and moved ahead of him. Erza slashed her blade, while Orion swung an aura-enhanced fist, their assaults colliding as light encompassed them and exploded. Orion and Erza emerged from the smoke opposite one another, forming a small crater. Orion's aura thickened, as each snake opened its mouths and charged crimson orbs that began to mix, with Erza crossing her swords and green energy enveloping her. Wrath of the Snake Prince, he yelled, launching his attack with lightning speed. Photon Slicer. Erza slashed the air, unleashing a strong energy slash that collided with Orion's strike. The subsequent battle resulted in an enormous explosion that encompassed most of the woodland they were in, resulting in a massive dome that died down and left a large crater behind, as well as two battered warriors. Orion's torso was exposed, his boots had crumbled, and his trousers had ripped into tattered shorts. Erza was ripped up as well, her modesty barely concealed by a ripped-up top and shorts. You are strong, he said, kneeling on one knee and supporting himself with Kusanagi, which had a slight break on the tip of the blade. You harmed Kusanagi. This sword is known to be unbreakable, but you managed to crack it. Not many can say that, you know. He noticed her faint attempts to stand. Give up already, neither of us can stand or move, and fighting is pointless any longer. And never. She mustered the will to stand, shocking Orion. Unlike you, I fight for my guild, my friends, who gave me the strength to fight. I've recovered from worse, and my body can withstand pain better than most. I am a warrior. What? Did I misjudge her pain tolerance? She's on her way over. He started to panic. My body won't move, and I just have a little magic left. What should I do? He glanced down at his shadow, apparently helpless, until he realized he could still control his shadows. He utilized his last energy to command his shadow to penetrate Erza's left shoulder. Fighting theme from Naruto. Ost Orochimaru, Arg. Erza yelled as the shadow moved deeper into her shoulder. She fell to the ground as the shadow passed through the opposite end of her shoulder, the spike's point covered with Erza's blood. Ever since our battle began, I've imagined this sweet melodious sound coming out of your mouth. I may not be able to move my body or use some of my stronger spells, but I have just enough to make you release those beautiful sounds for a good while. He grinned maliciously before laughing chillingly. I must commend you for putting up a good fight, and you have my respect. I was aiming for your heart, but you managed to dodge just enough for me to hit your left shoulder instead. Why, you are pathetic, she exclaimed, making Orion frown. IIW will not be break from something L like this, so do why you're worst. Orion drew his shadow back out her shoulder and punctured her right leg, eliciting another scream. I'm going to enjoy filling you with bloody holes, then severing your limbs piece by piece, so make no mistake woman, you will break. He was about to go for a limb when an irate female voice interrupted him. Not unless I break you. Old End. Mirajane appeared behind Orion in her Satan soul form and smacked him with an uppercut. Guys, she's right here, she exclaimed to her current comrades, Gajeel and Kana, who were joined by Erza's current teammates, Juvia and Elfman. Mira, when did you get here? Erza inquired of her former adversary. Master sent us here because it was a dead end in our part. I'm glad we came now. Let me help you, the others said, turning to the fallen son of Orochimaru, who still had a shaky grasp on his legendary sword. No, in this state, I am unable to move and cannot cast any spells. Shit. Those were his final thoughts before succumbing to oblivion. Mira returned to normal and began to examine Erza's wounds, while Gajeel approached the fallen Demon Blade member and then noticed the Kusanagi. A katana? And it's cracked. For some reason, Gajeel was pulled to the sword and took it from Orion's grasp. However, once he held it, he felt such evil emanating from it. When he felt his hand begin to burn, he dropped the blade to the ground. This ain't no ordinary katana, he exclaimed, unconcerned that the Kusanagi had scorched his hand. Erza would tell him that the sword held the spirit of an evil spirit. Fairy Tale Ost Fire Dragon vs Flame God, Natsu vs Silva. Natsu deflected Silva's sword blow with his fingertips, which were engulfed in flames. He had no trouble catching it. He wasn't this strong before. Did our conflict make him stronger? He's adapting to my sword skills at an alarming rate. He shifted to a glaive and swept Natsu off his feet, forcing him to lie on his back. Die. He attempted to stab Natsu while he was on the ground, but he kept rolling with each stab. Fire Dragon's Iron Fist, exclaimed Natsu, drawing blood from Silva's mouth. Silva, on the other hand, swung back and began jabbing at Natsu, who could barely respond until Silva managed to graze Natsu's left cheek. Natsu took a step back and exhaled several small flames to form a firewall, briefly immobilizing Silva. Natsu then dashed for Silva, his arms coated in streams of fire. Silva produced a shield to intercept the strike, and spikes erupted from the shield to hurt Natsu's left hand. Natsu gritted his teeth in pain, but he powered through and sent Silva back, splitting his shield in the process. Silva swiftly broke his shield into hundreds of daggers and hurled them at Natsu, who burst into flames and erupted, throwing the kunai back. Natsu then charged at him, but Silva transformed the daggers into two enormous discs. The discs emitted two blue lightning bolts that stunned Natsu, forcing him to grovel on one knee. Silver Ray had transformed into a spear and was ready to finish Natsu. The spear was ready to sever Natsu's head when the fairy tale wizard snatched it and channeled flames into his hand to break it. What? Even that person I battled before couldn't adjust to lightning this quickly and effortlessly. Silva couldn't finish his thought before being thrown backwards by Natsu's punch. Do you think a little shock will hurt me? You've obviously never met Laxus. His lightning is on another level, Natsu said, shaking off the lightning strikes. Silva was now on the ground, slowly rising, and carrying Silver Ray in sword form. Old End. What the hell are you? Silva's voice was losing confidence. You're not human, he said, recalling how rigorous Riku was and how he doesn't tolerate failure, even from his own flesh and blood. If I lose here, I will be slain by my own father's hand. I can't possibly lose. Silva's left hand began to tremble, which Natsu noticed. Is he terrified of something? It's as if he's being pushed to fight. Natsu then drew Silva's attention to himself. Oi, sword guy. Your left hand is shaking, Silva exclaimed, astonished to realize Natsu was telling the truth. He's right, I'm shaking and sweating. He wiped the sweat from his right cheek. I'm letting my fear of my father get the best of me in front of an adversary. I guess I'll have to utilize Silver Knight to finish him off. Silva then did something unexpected. He transformed Silver Ray into liquid metal and covered himself with it. It transformed into a knight wielding a rapier. Think of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure's Silver Chariot. So, you covered yourself in some armor, so what? Natsu abruptly twisted to the left as Silva closed the distance and grazed Natsu's cheek. Fast. Natsu jumped back as Silva began to demonstrate his sword's quickness. He's even faster this time. You are a worthy opponent. What was your name again? He asked Natsu, who lit up his legs and hands in preparation for another bout. Natsu Dragneel, remember that. Natsu rushed him, and Silva followed suit. Fairy Tail Os the victory strike. I will remember you for a long time, Natsu Dragneel. He began quickly jabbing at Natsu, who dodged them quickly, but his luck ran out and he was sliced on the chest, forcing him to retreat back. Natsu cocked his flame-enhanced fist and propelled himself forward with the flames on his feet. Useless. Silva evaded by circling Natsu and began fencing at Natsu, who had an easier time escaping his sword assaults this time because he had adapted to his attack patterns. He's moving incredibly fast around me. Natsu launched into the air, spinning until his leg kicked the ground, causing flames to explode out and cover Silva. Silva, on the other hand, began to rotate his body and shake them off. Natsu enveloped himself in flames and charged at Silva, striking a headbutt powerful enough to fracture his armor and cause an internal injury. Silva was knocked back, but he regained his feet. Small orbs formed from his armor, which he fired at Natsu at breakneck speed. Natsu avoided all save one, which hurt his left arm. Arg. Natsu gripped his arm in anguish for a while before taking a deep breath and unleashing his dragon's roar on him. Silva used his fencing technique to thwart the attack. Damn. He reacted to my shout. Silva closed the distance between them and tried for a straight jab to the head, but Natsu reacted. Huh. Silva came up with the same rush of jabs, but this time Natsu thought his blows were slower. He then noticed the earlier damage slowly repairing itself, but not at the rate it reassembled itself in any of its previous incarnations. Old End. That's correct. Even as armor, it's the same weapon he previously used. And since it's taking a long time to mend itself, it's going to require a lot more effort for him to fix it. Natsu smirked as he ignited his fists once more. He rushed Silva once more, this time going for a left hook that was deflected by Silver Knight's sword. Natsu desired this as he shot for the midsection, leading Silva to block it with his left hand. Silva had to take a step back as the gauntlet began to crack and then split apart. He was aiming for the broken area of my armor. Did he already figure out Silver Knight's weakness? He felt his left hand sting somewhat. Silver Knight boosts my defense and increases my speed. In exchange for the other skills, it takes longer to repair and manipulate than Silver Ray's other forms. It appears that I'm almost at my maximum, therefore, I must arrange this properly. Battle tendency Ost take cover, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Silva and Natsu locked eyes, each determined to end this fight once and for all. Natsu was surrounded by flames, whereas Silva was surrounded by an aura. Silva spun around Natsu and came in to attack with his fast attacks, but Natsu managed to adjust to his speed and blocked most of them, covering his arms in flames. Natsu grasped Silva's sword, then hit a solid right on Silva's helmet, fracturing it and revealing a portion of his face. Silva rotated his body to kick Natsu away from him and gain speed for a barrage of sword attacks. He tore through Natsu's garments and cut him a few times, but it was cut short when Natsu generated a concentrated explosion, throwing Silva back. Damn you. Silva lost his top left arm, and torso. Silva rose to his feet. He proceeded to spin around like a tornado, moving towards Natsu in an attempt to rip him to shreds once more. Two can play that game, Natsu said, covering his arms and legs with flames and imitating Silva's movements. The clash resulted in an explosion, and Natsu was trading blows with Silva. Silva slashed Natsu's cheek again, and Natsu managed to break through the rest of Silva's chest armor. Natsu finally overpowered Silva, piercing the majority of his armor and left only his rapier and gauntlet, forcing him to back down. All of the silver ray fragments were reformed into daggers and hurled at Natsu. Don't you have any other tricks? Natsu asked before closing his eyes briefly and combusting the bullets. I'm going to put an end to this fight right now. Natsu clasped his hands together, combining flames in each hand to make a massive fireball. Fire Dragon's Brilliant Flame. You won't defeat me. Silva clapped his hand after punching the ground with his gauntlet and moving it underground. Silver Demon's Gate. Silva was protected by a gigantic silver wall, but it was broken in the process, blasting Silva backwards. Old end. We're done here. Man, that took a lot out of me. Natsu's clothes were frayed, his body damaged and wounded, but he emerged victorious from this struggle. Silva, on the other hand, had one more move to make. He still wielded his silver ray as a rapier and launched its blade. Natsu tried to respond, but it still passed through the left side of his abdomen, causing blood to flow from his wound. When he saw Silva on the ground with his rapier's handle, he motioned his left hand's middle and index fingers up, causing the blade in Natsu's wound to go deeper, causing the fire wizard to hiss in pain. I can force that blade to go deeper so it goes through your body, or I can force it to release spikes and pierce your heart, so accept your defeat. He smirked and moved his fingers as the sword began to go deeper. Because the blade had gone deeper, blood was dripping from Natsu's mouth. I'm sorry, gentlemen, but it appears I'm done for. Igneal. I wanted to see you again, father. Gramps, it looks like I'll die before you, he. He growled in misery as he remembered his companions. I'm sorry, I'll leave you alone, says Happy. I never got to settle things with you or Naruto, Gray. Lucy, please care after everyone on my behalf. You guys provided me with the best memories I could have asked for. You guys gave me a reason to live. Natsu then realized something important. He had people he needed to see. No.
Official Fairy Tail Ost Dragon Force. What is he up to? Silva noticed Natsu gripping the blade and lighting his palm on fire. As Silva lost control of the blade, Natsu began to slowly pull it out. No, I was almost there. He's drawing the sword. You think something like this would stop me? I have people waiting for me, and I won't disappoint them. He drew out the blade and immediately melted it, leaving Silva with nothing to fight with. Silva backed away slowly as Natsu approached him. He sealed the wound with the fire in his palm. Silva became terrified as he saw a picture of a terrible creature that froze him to the bone. It's a dragon.
It's a dragon. A true dragon. He was horrified as Natsu stood over him and lifted him up.
The next time you want to fight me, remember this one thing. I was the one who beat you, and you'll live with it for the rest of your life, he glared at Silva. Never underestimate me or my friends again, because I'll beat you down so badly that your future children will be able to feel. Natsu hit Silva and knocked him unconscious. Old end. Silva was dropped by Natsu. He moved towards the forest, his wound throbbing slightly. Oracion cease, I shall defeat you.
Happy waited for Natsu at the forest's entrance, as promised. Those earlier blasts were from a fight between Natsu and that guy. Please return, Natsu. Happy was concerned about Natsu. He suddenly noticed a figure in the distance and turned to see Natsu limping towards him. Happy was overjoyed until Natsu approached closer and he saw Natsu's condition, particularly the wound he seared shut. Oh no. Natsu, what happened? He exclaimed, to which a grinning Natsu replied. I kicked his $1, but he was tougher than I thought, Natsu sobbed. Anyway, let's find the others and help them out. Happy grabbed Natsu and proceeded to assist his friend by flying him over to the others. Members of the Alliance, Fairy Tale Ost Oracion Cease theme.
Ice Make, Lance, Gray and Leon launched various lances against a variety of foes. More dark wizards charged at them, but the ice wizards were up to the task. While standing by a tide, comatose angel, Sherry summoned a wooden doll to take out additional adversaries.
Dragon Jet. Naruto sped off in a water jet and defeated a gang of evil wizards. He then spun around and knocked out more of them with his dragon's roar. I renamed Aqua Jet to Dragon Jet after realizing it was a Pokemon move and I didn't want to use the term any longer.
I'm stronger now, and I won't let everyone down. Wendy was attacked by a few dark wizards, including a youngster spinning with his dog, a man controlling insects, a pineapple-haired man using his shadows, and an overweight lad who grew his body. Wendy, on the other hand, was prepared and breathed in before launching her attack. Sky Dragon's roar, she annihilated them in one blow.
Nice, Wendy. Lucy said, causing Wendy to flush slightly before warning Lucy of 3 female wizards attacking her. One had platinum blonde hair, one had brunette hair, and one had pink hair. The blonde joined her hands, the brunette wielded weapons, and the pink one simply charged with her fists. Lucy summoned Loke, who dispatched them immediately, but grudgingly due to his playboy personality. He then became aware of Wendy. What a lovely lady. Loke grasped her hand, attempting to flirt with her as he often does with women, but instead making her uncomfortable. Will you go out with me, my lady? Naruto drop-kicked him. Loke. The Trimans reasoned together. Loke, you see, was Hibiki's ex-girlfriend Karen Lilika's soul. They were relieved that he was okay and planned to speak with him later. Loke. You're making Wendy uncomfortable, he said, smiling at Wendy. Let me know if anyone bothers you again. Wendy simply smiled back, and while they were only acting as friends, it appeared to Lucy and a few others that romance was developing. Several dark green blasts struck the fallen dark wizards, instantly killing them and shocking every wizard fighting for the Alliance. The ground beneath them then liquefied, causing some of them to sink.
Jura, on the other hand, was swift enough to use his magic to harden the ground. I sense you're nearby, Hotai of the Oracion cease, Earth is my domain, and I can counter your effects with my own. Jura then saw Brain's previous effort to grab Wendy. He tried to stop it again, but Hotai stopped him by liquefying the pillar. Naruto also observed the hand approaching Wendy and attempted to stop her abduction, but was stopped by Cobra's sneak strike from above.
You again, Naruto yelled, and Cobra responded with a sneer, which enraged Naruto even more. He raced Cobra and grappled him, his wrath clouding his judgment. Brain appeared on top of Midnight's floating carpet. Naruto lost focus and became concerned about Wendy once more. Wendy. He tried to save her, but Racer was waiting for him behind him, ready to strike. Ice Make. Arrow. Gray built an ice bow and arrow and hit Racer, the arrow bursting and freezing the black wizard's body. Cobra rushed to free Racer, but this gave Naruto the opportunity to land a water-enhanced fist on the frozen Racer, freeing him but also knocking him backwards. Retreat Oracion cease. We have the Sky Maiden. Brain exclaimed a little too soon as Natsu and Happy came and broke the enchantment, freeing Wendy. Wendy, on the other hand, was collapsing. Carla took advantage of the opportunity to catch her and gently lower her to the ground. Thank you, Carla, and thank you, Natsu. Wendy bowed, but then she and the others noticed Natsu's condition. Happy landed alongside Natsu, but the fire wizard was unable to stand and landed on his buttocks. Wendy approached him and examined his wounds. Hold on, Natsu, I can use my spell to heal you. Wendy's hands were glowing as she laid them on Natsu. Except for Carla and Naruto, Natsu's wounds were beginning to heal. The leader of the Oracion cease attempted to utilize this opportunity to strike them with a powerful blast of green-colored darkness, but Naruto shielded them by forming a gigantic coral. The makeshift shield was breached by Brain's strike. This magic is similar to Maker magic, but he can't form the coral like those ice wizards can. It's more raw and unrefined, and it's employed primarily for defense rather than offense. And the Fire Dragon Slayer defeated the Demon Blade member on his own. First, I must capture Wendy and heal Jelal. The attack pierced Naruto's defense, but Natsu was already healed. His burned wound would remain as a scar, and his internal ailments were totally healed. However, he was still in poor fighting shape compared to when he faced Silva. Old end, thanks Wendy. I guess that's your Dragon Slayer magic. Natsu exclaimed, making her blush once more. It didn't help that Naruto acknowledged her talent as well. So that's why you want to capture that girl, so she can heal that Jelal guy, Cobra said loud enough for the members of the Alliance to hear. Jelal. Natsu remembered an incident from the Tower of Heaven. Jelal tortured Erza and murdered one of her closest friends, Simon. Hearing his name reawakened Natsu's rage for the man, and he would never forgive him for what he had done. Wendy, on the other hand, had fond memories of Jelal. He looked after her as a child and took her to Kate Shelter's guild. She didn't notice the fairy tale wizard's shocked and terrified expressions, especially Naruto. From what Natsu informed me, that's the guy that made Erza cry. He wants Wendy to heal the same person. I'm kicking his $1. Naruto and Natsu were both outraged. Naruto because he had been told what had happened to Erza at the Tower of Heaven, and Natsu because he had to see his friend cry in front of him and lose a loved one. Does he have red marks on the right side of his face and blue hair? Wendy made a hesitant step forward, her hands clasped together. Everyone, especially Natsu, was taken aback by her description.
So, you know of him. What is he to you? Brain was unaware that Wendy had a history with Jelal. He had researched the residence of Kate Shelter and realized Wendy possessed healing abilities.
He's my friend. I'd like to see him again. Could you take me? She took a few more steps, but Naruto placed a hand on her shoulder.
I don't know what he was like in the past, but the Jello you know is gone. I never met him, but Lucy and the others can tell you that the Jello they met was a monster, he said, his face solemn. What? Wendy yelled as she shook Naruto's hand off her shoulder. No way, Kaya. Naruto pushed her off her feet, avoiding Brain's dark blast.
It's true, Wendy, if not from my mouth, then listen to Natsu, he was the one who fought him. He couldn't get much further as Racer struck him from behind, forcing him to let go of Wendy. Lucy had caught her, but Cobra was about to attack her. From Fairy Tale. Ost Jaku no Tsuchioto, Ice Make, Shield. Gray shielded them with an ice wall, while Leon summoned little swallows and launched them at the second-generation Dragon Slayer. Cobra, on the other hand, read his thoughts and avoided it. Hatai started melting the ground around Gray, but Jura had already retaliated by hardening the ground beneath Fairy Tale's Ice Wizard. Wouldn't it be easier if we could see the man attack us? If he's hiding somewhere, it has to be somewhere we can't see him but he can see us. Gray continued to scan around. If we can blind him for a moment, maybe we can find him and take him out, making it easier for the old man to take out their boss, Leon reasoned, and set off to find the evil wizard. The radiance temporarily blinds Hatai's Heaven Eye. Hatai's unique eye magic allows him to see over great distances and through solid objects, giving him an advantage as a long-range fighter. Hatai was hiding behind the woods and attacking them from there.
He's hidden somewhere close. I need to focus. Jura placed his hand on the ground, encircled by a yellow aura, opened his eyes seconds later, and then added force to his hand. The ground erupted unexpectedly near the trees, with Hotai narrowly escaping by utilizing his powers. Eve launched a snowball at him, but Hotai liquefied the earth to deflect it. Ren and Hibiki were both hit by Racer. Cobra punched Sherry in the gut and attempted to reach the unconscious angel.
Damn. That fight took a lot out of me, if only I had some fire to eat. Natsu, while healed, didn't have much of his strength left and needed to devour some flames to restore his magic. No more. I will demonstrate the power of my parfum. Ichiya opened his vial to surround himself with dancing flames and hurled a big fireball towards Cobra, who dodged at the last second. Natsu couldn't fight as well as he used to, but thanks to Ichiya, he was able to eat the fireball and revive himself.
I'm all fired up. Natsu slammed a flame-enhanced fist into Cobra, catching him off guard and sending him tumbling backwards. Racer knocked Eve unconscious with a surprise strike from behind and then started beating up Ren. While the other Alliance members were busy dealing with the other Alliance members, Naruto saw this as an opportunity to attack the Dark Wizard. Naruto attacked Racer with his Dragon Jet. Jura eventually defeated Hotai and launched many smaller pebbles towards Brain, who was now on the ground with Midnight behind him. Brain managed to evade most of them, but one hit his mouth and wounded his lip. Such arrogance. Fine then. Brain charged a powerful spell, oblivious to the fact that he would kill some of his own troops in the process. Hotai, Cobra, and Racer, stop your battles right now and retreat. They all did, with Cobra managing to reclaim Angel. Brain kept charging an assault. Dark Rondo, he said, sending multiple dark green blasts. Jura focused his attention and utilized his magic to protect them all. Hotai then kidnapped Wendy and Lucy by going underground and using his powers to seize them. Old End, Wendy, Lucy. Brain stopped Naruto and Natsu from going any further when he threatened Lucy with a knife to her throat. Lucy, let go of her, you bastard. Natsu tried to save his comrades, but his efforts were halted when the blade touched Lucy's skin. Natsu clenched his teeth in rage, rarely keeping it in check. We only need the Sky Maiden, so I wouldn't go any further unless you want her blood spilled. Brain grinned, but then noticed someone was absent. Loke had vanished. Did I take her spirit out? He couldn't continue his idea as Lucy began to shine. Taurus was summoned and both females were able to flee. However, the humanoid cow was quickly dispatched by Cobra's poison claw and vanished back into the celestial spirit world.
Perhaps I should persuade the girl rather than force her. Wendy, don't you want to see your friend Jelal? This struck a chord with the girl, who still felt a connection to her old friend. He's in a lot of pain, and he could really use your help.
Don't listen to him. What Naruto said to you was true. The Jelal you knew is long gone. Lucy sought to persuade her as the war between the Dark and Light guilds raged on. Natsu and Naruto were fighting Cobra, the Ice Wizards were fighting Racer, and the Trimons, particularly Ren, were guarding Sherry. Ichigo was assisting Jura in his fight against Hotai, who was losing ground against the Wizard Saint.
He enslaved innocent people and made a game out of people's lives. He killed someone close to my friend Erza. Because of him, I was forced to fight my own friend. I was there when we fought against him, and I can tell you for a fact that whoever he was before, no longer exists. Lucy was speaking to Wendy, who was shocked to learn what Jelal had done. She's lying to you. She was part of the group that caused Jalal's critical condition. She doesn't want you to see your friend, none of them do. Jelal saved your life. We may be bad people, but he was just an innocent man who we took advantage of and attacked by those you call allies. Wendy stated, her eyes obscured by her hair as she looked down. Even if he is a bad person, I still want to see him again. However, I don't believe the lies you just told me. Wendy looked up, her visage befitting a fairy tale magician. I have to do my best and support everyone. While Jelal may have helped me, Naruto taught me to stand on my own 2 feet. I will meet him again someday, but I won't be your puppet. The wind danced about her as the 2 dragon slayers chuckled, along with the other members who had overheard everything. The younger generation certainly is remarkable, Jura said, smiling at how determined the young wizards were. I can't fall behind just now, Jura said, preventing Hotai from using his liquid ground. This filthy brat. Brain then gazed towards Happy and Carla, who were floating above the battleground. Perhaps I was being too kind in my approach. I need to employ more brutal techniques. Cobra, retrieve those cats. Cobra and Cubelios flew into the air and went to capture the 2 cats. Unfortunately, only Carla was captured, as Happy escaped. Carla. Happy ran to save her, but he was seized by the throat and taken to Brain. But Natsu got in the way and forced him to let them go. You. Cobra was taken aback by Natsu's immediate answer. He was using his flames as jets and his thoughts was only on rescuing his 2 buddies. Brain looked around to see his pawns being beaten yet again. Enough. Brain released another blast, this time a concentrated laser of darkness. This time, he targeted Natsu, who was unable to flee in time owing to Cobra's distraction. This blow would puncture Natsu if it landed, but Naruto shielded him and took it through the right side of his chest. Wendy, who screamed his name, was the most horrified of the alliance members. Naruto. They witnessed Naruto fall, but he was taken by the same magic brain used to grab Wendy. Let him go, you bastard. Natsu yelled as he landed on the ground, staring at the leader of the Oracion cease. Except for Wendy and Lucy, who were concerned about Naruto. Now, Wendy, you'll come with us or your friend here. Brain squeezed Naruto's hand, causing the injured blonde to scream. Suffers. That goes for all of you, unless you want this boy to die. As Naruto's injury worsened, Wendy begged Jura to do something, which he did, making her grateful. Free Naruto so I can heal him. She came up and requested them to release Naruto so she could heal him. I'm afraid I can't do that until you heal Jelal. I'll be taking you and him with us as incentive. I don't want any funny business. Once Jelal is healed, you 2 will be free to go. The Oracion cease members were in a position of power. Don't do it. Naruto was silenced by Brain, who then issued an ultimatum to Wendy. She had to decide between not unleashing Jelal on the rest of the planet and protecting her companion. She opted for the latter.
I'm sorry, Sir Naruto, but your life comes first, Jura said as they all agreed to a ceasefire, despite the fact that others, like Natsu, wanted nothing more than to beat up members of the Oracion cease. Wendy was now standing next to Naruto, inspecting his wounds.
Oh, and about our ceasefire, he said before shooting another dark rondo, forcing Jura to protect everyone once more. They were gone in an instant thanks to Hatai's sorcery. Sir Natsu, can you get a scent? Jura inquired, but the Dragon Slayer shrugged. It appears that when Brain killed the Dark Wizards earlier, their corpses left a smell in the air that even Natsu couldn't detect. The Alliance members observed the dead in the vicinity and observed silence. While the Dark Wizards weren't the nicest of people, They didn't deserve the painful deaths inflicted by Brain because even the dark wizards didn't have such evil hearts.
He killed his own comrades. I wish I could sniff them out, but these dead bodies are blocking my nose. Damn it. Natsu struck the ground in disgust.
Then it's a good thing you have me, Kurama said as he emerged from the forest. I have a way of tracking Naruto without using his scent. How are you able to do that? And how come you didn't help us out? Lucy questioned him, and he quickly responded her while scratching his own head. To answer your second question first, I know you guys can handle it, but this time they took that blonde idiot and his dragon father asked me to look after him in his stead, so I can't abandon him. He then looked in the direction the Oracion cease took off from. I can find Naruto's magic signature specifically because of my sensor abilities. Think of me as a metal detector who can find Naruto. Kurama took the lead. So, follow me. I'll save you youngster and your girlfriend, too. He sprinted towards the Oracion cease, followed by the other alliance members, with Sherry healing from her injuries. Sir Fox is hiding something, and he wields immense authority. I should be wary of him, Jura thought as he followed the kids. Silva's address. Silva lay on the ground, his black markings on his body glowing crimson. Who knew Kurama could run so fast? Lucy wondered as she followed the nine-tailed fox. He came to a complete stop when he seen many dark wizards come, with the others looking at what was in front of them. Another swarm of black wizards appeared in front of them. How many guys did they hire? Gray inquired, eager to take them on, but Jura had other plans.
Leave them all to me. He beckoned for them to leave as he erected a rock pillar, displacing some dark wizards and clearing a route for himself. Sir Naruto and Lady Wendy take priority. I will join you as soon as I can, he said as the pillar bent, releasing additional wizards. Good luck, Master Jura, we'll see you later, Leon remarked before sprinting to join up with the others. Jura then sprang away from where he was standing, the ground liquefying.
I sensed you nearby, Hatai. Come out and face me one-on-one, the man said as he approached Jura and looked him down.
You may be a powerful Jura of the Wizard Saints, but my magic is the polar opposite of yours. Last time you overpowered, this time I am as focused as you are, Hotai said as he tucked his book away and prepared to face the 10th Wizard Saint. Oracion Sisis Foundation, welcome to our base, Wendy said as she dropped Naruto to the ground, hoping to heal him right away. Cobra, on the other hand, stood in her path. First you heal Jello, then you can heal him, or else I will kill him right here and right now, he said, commanding Racer to bring the casket-carrying Jello.
Are you sure Angel and Hatai can handle those wizards? They took us all on before and held their own, Cobra queried their captain, who had become overconfident. Do not forget, Cobra, that we also have various dark wizards and guilds who have joined us, including some notable wizards, including Aragorn the Grim Reaper, Brain joked, confident that the wizards would not make it here. If you say so, boss, Cobra said as Racer approached, lugging the coffin. Brain instructed him to assist Racer before opening the coffin to reveal a comatose Jelal. Cobra, Racer, you two join Angel and Hatai in taking care of those flies. Angel has informed me that Iron Rock Jura is dealing with Hatai by himself. Divide them and deal with them accordingly, the two said, leaving Midnight to guard the entrance. Cobra and Cubelios flew into the skies, while Racer rode a magical four-wheeler. Now, Wendy, if you don't mind, Brain said to Jelal. Wendy gave Naruto one last look before approaching the former wizard saint. I still like him despite what he's done. Even if I didn't want to heal him, they'll hurt Naruto if I don't treat Jelal. She returned a quick glance before channeling magic into her hands and casting her healing spell on Jelal. Returning to the alliance members, this smell. Watch out. Natsu and the others avoided an airborne wind attack. This time, Aragorn wore a coat and didn't have his scythe, Arena from Eisenwald. This caused the fairy tale wizards to grow irritated with one of their resident morons. Even Aragorn was enraged by what Natsu had called him. It's Aragorn, he said, sending a gust of wind at Natsu, who sprang into the air, propelling himself with the flames on his feet, and then landed back on the ground. I'm stronger than the last time we fought, Natsu said, leaping up to strike Aragorn, who erected a wind wall, but Natsu overpowered it and landed a flame-enhanced punch, knocking him out in one hit. I'm not the same guy you fought before. I got stronger as well, Natsu assured him, but suddenly felt additional presences around them. I can smell more people around here. Their scent is getting closer, Natsu said, and everyone decided to form groups. Lucy, Hibiki, and Sherry are all in one. Natsu, Happy, Carla, and Kurama are on their way to Naruto's location. Ichiya and his two remaining followers, with Gray and Leon charging ahead. Return to the base of Oracion cease. Wendy ceased casting her spell, and Jelal regained consciousness. When he opened his eyes, the first thing he saw was Brain. "Ah, well, if it isn't Brain. My old mentor," he said as he stepped out of his coffin and flexed his muscles. "Last thing I remember, I was facing Natsu Dragneel, and it appears that I survived that encounter," he said, before noticing Naruto on the floor. "A filthy fairy. Here? I must be lucky today." "J. Jalal?" Wendy acknowledged Jalal's presence as he shifted his gaze to her. When he noticed her guild mark, he realized what Brain was after. "This girl is from Kate's shelter, so I'm guessing you want me to take you to the location of Nirvana. Did I guess right?" Brain nodded in response to his inquiry. "Very well, I'll take you there." Wendy was standing next to Naruto, ignoring them, and prepared to heal him when Jalal channeled dark energy through his left hand. "First, let me take care of that fairy over there." "You promised to let us go if I healed him," Wendy exclaimed as she clutched Naruto. They didn't realize, however, because Wendy was already casting her spell to heal Naruto, with Naruto's body concealing the glow from Wendy's hand. "I did, but Jalal has made no such promise, and since he is not a member of our guild, he can do whatever he wants." Brain smirked and walked away, but not before saying one more thing. "Meet us outside when you're done, Jalal." He left Jalal alone with the two light wizards. "Jalal, it's me, Wendy. Don't you recognize me?" She gazed into his eyes to see if she could still see the Jalal she remembered. His next few words, as well as the look in his eyes, dashed her hopes. "I've never met you in my life, but I've done my research, and I know you're the Sky Maiden, Wendy Marvell. You can leave now, you've done your part. All I want is Naruto Uzumaki's death. Otherwise, you will die alongside him." Wendy's heart ached. She didn't want to accept that her old buddy had turned into this, but there was no doubt in her mind anymore. She began to recall meeting Jalal as a child and how he had assisted her in a time of need. Even if she died, she would never abandon Naruto. She stood in front of him, arms open, to protect Naruto. "So, you choose his life over your own?" He didn't see her waver. Even though she appeared hesitant at first, her face changed dramatically. She was overcome by a fierce determination to defend Naruto, demonstrating that she was not to be underestimated. This act of bravery gave Naruto enough time to recover and pick her up in her arms before using his spell to flee. Dragon Jet. Naruto caught Jalal off guard and knocked him backwards. He took Wendy with him and passed the Oracion cease members on his way out. Wendy was grasping Naruto's chests, tears streaming down her cheeks. Naruto only stared down at her, heartbroken, before hardening his face and moving them out of the enemy's line of sight. "She healed me while those bastards were celebrating," he said, before allowing wrath to cloud his judgment. "Jalal, you cretin, first Erza, now Wendy. I'll repay you with interest." Group Lucy. "So, you three get to face me. I'll enjoy making you scream and making you pay for what that fox did to me." Angel smirked. "Oh Gemini, transform into that blonde girl over there." Suddenly, two little spirits appeared over Lucis' head and announced their arrival. They then transformed into Lucis' identical double and seized Sherry, whipping her. Angel then knocked her out, knowing Sherry's abilities and how she would be at a disadvantage against her. "What the?" They were all taken aback by the presence of another Lucy, none more so than the real Lucy. Angel matched the nasty smirk of the phony Lucy. "Say hello to Gemini. Two spirits that can change into anyone I ask them to and essentially become them. Their exact body, memories, and magic too." To emphasize her point, fake Lucy flashed the two, but the real Lucy covered Hibiki's eyes and screamed at them, before the fake Lucy pulled it back down, with the real Lucy summoning Sagittarius for battle. Ichia's organization. Ren and Eve used their separate magics to repel 6 dark wizards from the Naked Mummy Dark Guild. Ichia's lightning parfum shockingly dispatched the 2 most powerful members. Gray and Leon. Racer didn't get very far since the ice wizards froze his vehicle, forcing him to abandon it. Gray and Leon stood before him, both determined to face him while not knowing what Racer was truly capable of. Racer, on the other hand, had no idea what the disciples of were truly capable of. Both Naruto and Wendy. Naruto was still flying with Wendy in his arms, her tears gone and her attention focused on greeting the others. He didn't expect to see Kurama and the cats, let alone Natsu. He came to a halt and carefully released go of Wendy. "Why were you holding Wendy like that, you imbecile?" Carla took advantage of the opportunity to express her concern for her friend and question Naruto's motives with Wendy. Her interrogation perplexed Naruto. "What do you mean by that?" "I was carrying Wendy so we could escape together. I'm not called Fairy Tail's fastest man for nothing, you know," he said flatly, as if that was the end of it. "As if I believe you, ruffian, admit it, you were trying to be a knight in shining armor for Wendy and get her to fall for you," Wendy exclaimed, and Naruto followed suit. Naruto was dense, but not that dense. It's not like that. Both Naruto and Wendy exclaimed angrily. Wendy believed Naruto was not that type of person because he was only assisting her in getting out of a difficult circumstance following what had occurred to her with Jelal. Anyway, we need to get moving and meet up with the others, Kurama said, dropping their previous topic for the time being. They knew he was serious because of the tone of his voice, which Naruto hasn't heard from his companion in a long time. Do you know what they're doing here anyway? What their plans are? He was not pleased with Wendy's response. They were after something called Nirvana, which sounds like an ancient weapon. Have you ever heard of it, Mr. Kurama? She added, not expecting Kurama to scream. Everyone covered their ears, with a certain poison dragon slayer especially covering them due to his secondary magic's biggest vulnerability being loud noises. Perhaps this is more serious than I imagined. Is there anything else? Are they still at their base, or are they heading somewhere? Naruto and Wendy exchanged glances. Wendy nodded towards Naruto. They had me heal Jelal, and now he's most likely taking them to Nirvana as we speak. Wendy anticipated Kurama to yell at her, but he didn't, much to her and Naruto's astonishment. Natsu, on the other hand, clenched his hands and appeared to be keeping back his flames. Then we need to pinpoint Nirvana's location, Kurama said, before being interrupted by Happy, who wondered why he couldn't track the Oracion cease members like he did Naruto. Because I didn't track Naruto with his scent, but I can track anyone who has the Fairy Tail Guild mark. It's a sensory magic called radar. Wendy proposed. Happy and Carla can fly and find them in the air, to which everyone applauded. Cobra made his presence known to them with Cubelios, diving and attempting to land an assault against them. Naruto rescued Wendy, Natsu rescued the kittens, and Kurama escaped on his own. I'm sorry, but I can't let you guys do that. I'll take care of you by myself if I have to. Cobra was overconfident in his powers, despite the fact that they had gained an advantage over the previous time. This time I won't hold back. He had an advantage with Cubelios and his particular ability, and unlike last time, he won't let his arrogance get the best of him. Natsu, Naruto said to his childhood enemy, who turned to face him, I'd like to borrow Happy from you because I'd like to meet this guy and his pet snake, but I can't fly. Normally, Natsu would want to take on Cobra himself, but the contrary happened. Make sure Happy is okay, or I'll kick your ass after I beat Jelal Black and Blue, Natsu said as he walked in front of him. He's a tough opponent, but I promise you I'll take him down. Naruto held out his fist, and Natsu mimicked his moves as they bumped fists. Don't lose. Be happy. The blue cat nodded and flew over to Naruto. Natsu warned the others that they should leave Naruto alone. Except for the single human female in the group, Natsu and the others fled. Be careful, Naruto, she warned the blonde fairy tale magician, who smiled and gave her a thumbs up. She returned the smile and joined the others. Cobra attempted to stop them from fleeing, but Naruto and Happy foiled his plot. I'm your opponent, Naruto said, his hands channeling water and his face confident. Jalal's team, they got away from me. Guess my body isn't back to full strength, Jelal said as he walked alongside Brain and Midnight on his carpet. Well, you're still under Ethereon's influence and took a beating from that Dragon Slayer. She may be able to heal people, but even the Sky Maiden has limits. Brain and Jelal leapt away from multiple ice blades being hurled their way, with Midnight's spell protecting him. When Jelal looked up, he noticed a familiar face atop a tree. Ultir, he muttered aloud as the lovely lady smirked, holding an orb in her left hand. To be continued.
That's it for this part, guys. Thanks for listening to this video. If you did enjoy this part of the story, like, share, and subscribe for more, and comment down below. And enjoy your rest of your day.